Well, I don't know how many years on this earth I got left. I'm gonna get real weird with it.
All right, my beauties and bees. Welcome back. Thank you again for joining us. For everybody watching live, we are continuing on. For those of you all who are popping in, hello. And welcome to Just a Theory. The Mormons have a theory today, and that theory is that dinosaurs weren't real. All right, so, where do you even go from there? We're going to jump right into it. Yeah, this is going to be... It's going to be one of those things. So, yeah, let's see. This channel is called Ward Radio. And they have a lot of weird stuff going on. They're right-leaning, as you can see, except for, like, Brett Cooper. But they have some crazy woo stuff going on here, too. You got, like, pagan shrines. They talk about Bigfoot. They talk about, there's Chapel Roan. Where was it? They talked about parasites being demons and ancient dog-headed people and all sorts of weird Mormon beliefs that we don't really get. Like, yeah, the curse of Cain and all that. But I found a video from a couple years ago where... mysterious horses, elephants, and snakes in the Book of Mormon. We may have to dig into that at some point. But these guys, though, as you'll see, these guys have a poor understanding of phylogeny anyway, from the beginning.
Okay. Here's where it gets weirder.
Hold on.
Part of our god that we're now going to worship. Or maybe they were worshiping the reptilians like Kwaku is saying.
Dude, Kwaku, is this like, are you just stoked out of your mind that you're hearing? This is like music to your ears, man.
Look, obviously, I think the audience has picked up that these subjects are about 50% of me asking questions and 50% of me trolling. How ridiculous I can be and how much I can get away with.
You
right?
never give that up, dog. You never give that
funny.
up.
It's really funny, especially like, remember, I'm not sure which video it was, but it was something about...
You're literally like Alejandro Jones when he says, gotta admit, I'm like 50% crazy. Yeah, like, well, kind of nuts.
Remember the cynocephali episode, okay?
Yeah.
We're talking about dog people, all right? Like, literally the most how ridiculous subject can I get? And one guy leaves a long paragraph. He's
Yeah, we may have to go back and re-watch that one. At some point, too, about the dog-headed people. That almost sounds like it should be for CrypticCorner, though. But we'll see.
It's like, actually, you're inaccurate about the claims of Herodotus.
Where was I?
See their skeletons and everything like that.
Fake. I don't buy it.
Where was I?
Real by one Kwaku L. Go.
Yeah, did anyone think someone else was going to make that the topic for the day?
Yeah, so all of these dinosaurs that you grew up learning about and going to the natural history museums to see their skeletons and everything like that.
Fake. I don't buy it.
Okay, so Kwaku says just rubber stamped fake, and he ain't buying it. Why not, Kwaku?
Yeah, I don't think they were real. I think
Oh, you can't just have a man. They're not real. Come on.
Like, so there's places like for like dinosaurs like Silophysis, for instance. We have like where hundreds of them died in mass, right? Like a mass grave of them, probably probably ironically killed by a flood. Regardless, though, we have all the bits and pieces. He's gonna make this argument that well, here, I'll let him make it before I start to refute it.
What is that?
If I told you that the Earth used to be populated by giant chinchillas, you wouldn't believe it either. But since we've just been taught that there was big lizards...
See, now, here's the deal.
That's not something we've just been taught. That's what the evidence shows, that that there were... And calling them big lizards is a bit odd. Big archosaurs. But archosaurs aren't lizards. Lizards are lepidosaurs. Like I said, they're really bad at phylogeny here. Lepidosaurs, there's lizards and snakes and their allies, most of which are extinct now, of course. And then archosaurs are dinosaurs, pterosaurs, and crocodilians. So, yeah, that's how that's divided up. And, yeah, so calling them lizard-like, I guess that's okay. Early mammals were lizard-like too, though, as much as dinosaurs were.
If you told me that the world was populated by giant chinchillas, and you had a giant chinchilla skeleton to show me, maybe I'd be more inclined
like
to believe
the
you.
giant sloths in La Brea tar pits right down the road from our studio.
That's almost
I
a
mean,
chinchilla.
No.
Your argument isn't
No, they're not, because chinchillas are rodents. Very much nested deeply in rodents, right? Whereas sloths are xenothrans, this weird group of mammals that evolved in South America during its isolation. That it includes the extant sloths, armadillos, and anteaters. Those are all xenothrans. They're not closely related to rodents at all. As a matter of fact, their closest relatives are the Afrotheres, which are a similar group that evolved in isolated Africa even earlier, which includes elephants, manatees, aardvarks, and hyraxes, and things like that. So those are their closest relatives. And none of them, and then they were isolated from the clade that includes rodents, which is Euborotheria, way earlier than that. Way earlier than they even diverged from one another. So no, they're not closely related to chinchillas in any way.
valid.
Also, I don't even know what family the sloth is close to. It's kind of like its own weird. It's not a monkey, but it's not like a rodent. It's like it's like a weird, it's like
Alien
it's like,
transplant from another planet. Is that what you're going for?
Yeah.
No, I didn't even know what they are. It's like the Finnish language. It just appeared out of nowhere. Nobody knows. It's not related to anything. It's just there.
But we do know where they come from. We do. We see it. We know we have their evolutionary development in the fossil record. It's all documented.
So
The Megatherium.
yeah.
So yeah,
That's actually
keep
kind of
going.
cool, dude. Oh, that's terrifying.
Oh yeah, giant sloths. They're the
It
real
looks like
deal,
those
man.
like the painting, like that little monster from that like Marina Abramovich painting where they kidnapped the children.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I know, most
exactly,
people don't, but-
look
so,
at that.
okay.
Yeah, giant sloths were the real deal, man. They
Yeah,
were
no, I bet
massive.
they were. So here's the thing. Let's talk about this.
Okay.
The skeletons you brought up, Brad.
Yeah.
How many full dinosaur skeletons do we have?
How many? Tell me. How many do you think we
It's
have?
debatable
Uh-huh.
whether we have one or two.
Because
But that doesn't mean that we don't have all the bones that we need to create full skeletons from multiple specimens, though. That's the weird thing that this guy doesn't seem to understand. We have all the bones. Yeah, we do. But, yeah, maybe they're not all from one individual animal. But we can complete skeletons from multiple species of dinosaurs.
of how many missing bones? Like
Yes.
pieces of a tail,
Yes,
or
yeah.
like half a leg, or what?
Like most of the dinosaur skeletons we have are fake.
Really?
Well,
Yeah.
in museums, yeah, they're mostly like casts of different pieces, but you have
Yeah, because you don't actually put up full stone fossils, like real fossils, real fossilized dinosaur bones are typically pretty heavy. There are some places where they've been assembled on display, but like a full articulated, like a one that's freestanding, for instance, or held up by wire work and things like that, those are not real fossils. Those are cast. They cast the fossils and build those because out of a lighter material that can be stood up like that.
have like damaged bones that show up, right? So like I think the stat
Yeah,
that
we
you're
got
saying
fossils. I mean, we got fossils all the way dating back to like trilobites and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
Right?
You know how you know
Okay.
most of them are? They're
What?
fish fossils.
Well, okay,
They're
one
fish.
with
well,
fossils.
trilobites, yes. In the trilobite era, they're all fish-like.
The trilobite era. I guess he's talking with the Paleozoic, but the Paleozoic had a lot more than fish going on. You get all the way up to these really advanced, badass synapses like the Gorgonopsids.
But
Nobody's doubting that fish are real. I can see them. If you're going to convince me that we had giant freaking 20-foot tall T-Rexes walking around like just a bunch of them, we don't have one full, completely preserved skeleton.
Okay,
Isn't that kind of weird?
I don't think
None
that's
of these
true.
count. None of these count.
This is what woke me up.
And I'm not to dive into the back and forth here. I love it, y'all are having, but Sumami's right. Black hair and brown, dark skin and brown eyes are the standard. And the mutations are the blonde hair, red hair, blue eyes, green eyes, gray eyes, pale skin. Those are the mutations. they're actually mutations adapt because our haplogroup, as pale, green-eyed people, our haplogroup was able to it was in order for us to thrive at a higher climate higher latitude where the climate was much colder and there's less sunshine for for our systems to absorb, I guess, is the best way to describe it, for us to absorb it. So that's why sometimes people from places where it's where they're like Africa, Central America, Southeast Asia, where people tend to be more dark skinned, if they move into an area like, say, Alaska or Finland or something, sometimes they have to take vitamin supplements and stuff because you don't get enough sun up there, and they have the darker skin, so they don't absorb as much of it. It's really a cool natural phenomenon of evolution, which made people whose ancestors had to adapt to less sunlight think that they were superior to people whose ancestors adapted to more sunlight for some reason, because they have special mutations, I guess, that I don't know. Super weird.
When I started looking into this and finding out how many of these are made
RFM
of...
graduated from Mormonism. You woke up from dinosaurs.
Gotta snap out of the dinosaur lie, man.
Yeah.
The man's trying to, the dinosaur, big dino corp.
I cannot wait to hear your idea behind the motive they have for making a
big dino trying to keep you down.
They're just trying to keep you just hopped up on that dino juice, man.
Well, that is gasoline, so I guess
Fossil fuel. Well,
that's
fossil fuel does not come from dinosaurs. Just to be clear, fossil fuel comes from mostly carboniferous swamp plants. So there's probably more bugs in your in your fossil fuel than there are dinosaurs. If there's any animals at all involved in there, it's going to be like insects, maybe some amphibians and fish and stuff, but that's about it.
true.
There
Is
it is.
this a big conspiracy from not big pharma, but big oil and big tech to keep us addicted to fossil fuel?
I haven't thought of that, but it sounds right to me. So without any vetting, I'm now going to promote that narrative.
It really does seem like that's this guy's MO, though, is to just say anything's real.
Okay, so finish. You got to describe this. You got to describe this.
Here's
man.
the thing. When I started looking into how many the skeletons were made of plaster.
On what website?
No, this is common. This is common knowledge.
Well, yeah, it's just like they finish Greek statues because they're often missing the arms.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They
but it's a
finish
lot more
of
than
these
that. I would say the
skeletons.
majority of the skeletons are fake.
Well, the majority of the skeletons that you see on display are cast. The real bones are in drawers packed, and sometimes they're still wrapped in their plaster in drawers and crates and boxes in the museum. The actual bones are not on display. Again, there's occasions where they are, but usually if there's bones on display, it's not very many. It might just be like a skull, like an actual fossilized skull.
Really?
And small amounts are real. Like we're talking a couple teeth.
Really?
And the
That
rest
bad,
is fake.
But like full skulls, though.
Yes.
Have they found full skulls?
They definitely have.
Uh-huh.
Now, here's where it gets weird.
So, hold on. Let me just clarify. So, we evolved in Africa, right? Our species comes from Africa. Having dark skin was our natural state. We all have black ancestors, if we go back far enough, is what I'm saying. Because the people that lived in Africa were all black skin, dark skin. The evolution of lighter skin evolved when we moved out of Africa and into Europe and Northern Asia. That's where we get the mutation for the lighter skin, so that we can absorb more vitamin D from solar radiation.
Oh boy.
Oh,
So-
it just happened.
I do not doubt that there were reptilian monsters
Oh my
of
God.
the ancient world.
Reptilian
Okay?
monsters.
I don't doubt that. In fact,
It's dragon time! Or is he going to talk about reptilians?
in our ancient history and even in our medieval history, the saints and sages and prophets and shamans and what are the little the Celtic not
Druids?
the,
The
wizards,
Picts?
druids.
Are you thinking? Oh,
Druids?
okay.
Okay.
I think he was thinking about the Picts when he says little, because the Picts were smaller stature. Druids don't usually think of as small people. Of course, the Picts weren't especially small people either. They're just remembered that way.
They described these lizard beasts, but they weren't described like dinosaurs.
They were described like dragons.
Half of them were described like dragons. The
Okay.
other half were described like the Chitahuri.
Okay.
The Chitahuri are
Oh no, are we?
There we go. We got lizard people. Lizard people.
reptoids, the lizard people.
Ah, great.
Right? So,
Okay, so I got some pushback on this once you're done.
okay, I'm about to
venturing
blow
into
your
the-
mind though.
Oh,
I'm about to
Okay,
your
blow our
mind.
minds, and then I have something to add that'll
Okay.
just make you.
If you, oh gosh, dang, I really wish I'm blanking on the name, of course. But if you look at the Peruvian long cranium skeletons.
Okay.
Oh
okay.
yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
Uh huh.
Gosh,
Okay.
someone in the comments gonna have to give us the name.
Okay.
There's a couple different, but depending on what tribe you want to go to,
Oh no.
they're not Denisovans.
Uh huh.
They're not humans.
Okay.
They are-
Peruvians weren't the only people that did this, though. Skull deformation's part of a lot of different cultures. Check this out. Hold on. You got the Americas. You got Eurasia. Yeah, that's Hungary. Sogdia. Ortenburg. Then you do got the Americas. Nazca. Olmec. Bolivia. Austronesians. Africans. Japanese. Chinese. Yeah, I don't got picture of them, but yes. This skull binding is like a normal thing that humans learned how to do. It's just like saying like we learned how to domesticate animals without understanding genetics. We learned how to deform our skulls and shrink our feet and hands by practice. We didn't without knowing anything about osteodevelopment at all.
a totally different species based on
Really?
all of the testing we have.
Based
By the
on
long-
DNA testing, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what you're talking about.
No.
The elongated skulls in Peru. These are the ones that you're talking about right here. And it's a fact check, all right?
Oh, by USA Today.
I
Yeah.
never trust fact checkers anymore, which
Yeah.
is unfortunate.
Yeah,
I
it
wish I
says they're
could.
indeed human, but they may be a different species of human, which is kind of interesting. We're going to throw this up on
No,
the
they're
screen
not
right
a
now.
different species of human. They're just people with skull binding. When they start doing it when they're young, and it makes their head stretch out. How are you guys being mean? Are we being mean? I don't know if we're being mean, just because. Yeah, I'm just trying to catch up on the chat here. Oh, yeah, talking about the vitamin D. I don't see anybody being mean to you, blessed be, because we're telling you what the scientific model and the archaeological records show us about the development of the human species.
Everybody else can participate
So
in this mayhem.
this is where, so people wanted to know for a while. Okay, well, are these just Martians? Are they aliens? Are they humans? Were they just bizarre animals, or are they some kind of mixture? Well, the ancients said they were a mixture of human and dragon, aka the dragon.
African primates already have dark skin. As a matter of fact, African primates have polymorphic skin, which changes from a lighter, more Caucasian-like complexion in youth to a darker black or gray color as they age. So, our closest relatives already had that before we migrated out of Africa, right? We already had the polymorphic ability to have that lighter skin tone was already in our genome, potentially as a signal of our state of development, potentially, which is like chimps, the lighter, you can tell a chimp's a baby by the color of its face, right? If it's pink or white. So, what color skin did the monkeys have that humans came from? Yeah, the African apes, the great apes in Africa, have either dark skin or they have a polymorphic skin tone with, and bonobos are also closely related to us and have polymorphic skin tones as well. And a lot of other features that they have in common with humans in the way that their skin and hair develops and the diversity.
People of ancient America, the dragon people of ancient Asia, these same monsters the ancients fought and wrote about. So let me ask you this, okay?
Interesting.
If the ancients, and by the way, I'm sorry, I don't subscribe to the I reject the total evolution theory, but I also reject the 6-day theory. Okay.
Okay.
So I think
You mean to tell me you reject the Bible
Yeah.
as it was written by God himself?
God created the Winchester 57 to kill the dinosaurs and the.
Oh, yeah.
so.
Can't finish that quote card.
When people are like, "Oh, the Christians believe that dinosaurs and humans were living at the same time," I think that's oversimplistic. I do think there were humans, human-type beings living. At the same time, there were these reptoid human-type beings living.
Reptilian.
They don't.
Okay.
Whatever you wanna
What is reptilian about this skull? Anything about this skull makes you think it's reptilian. You know what the difference between reptilian and mammalian generally is the synaptic condition versus the diapsid condition, which diapsid condition means they have 2 extra holes in their skull, generally just to make them lightweight. We'll see that when we look at the dinosaur skulls. Whereas synapsids, like you and I, have 1, and actually our extra hole is even closed over further. It's your temple. So we don't even have any. We have a secondarily evolved inapsid condition, which is no hole in their skull, like turtles.
Column. And I think they fought. And I know it sounds silly and crazy because we only let the crazy people believe that, but I'm sorry. After like every ancient tribe in every part of the world says, "Hey, this is what we were dealing with. You guys are lucky." Okay? Now we just have to deal with like diabetes.
Okay.
Yeah, but when you say ancient people said this is what we were dealing with, the monster people that they describe are just tribes of other humans that they have demonized in their retelling to make them more vicious.
I want you to look at the skull that's on the screen right now.
Okay.
And tell me, how is that a T-Rex?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Okay, what do you
Okay.
say?
So no, I'm saying the T-Rex skulls, these reptilian skulls, may have also been dragon people or dragon-type creatures, not as simplistic as we're saying the dinosaurs are. And another.
What do you mean simplistic? Dinosaurs were probably the most advanced, like physiologically the most advanced and well-adapted animals on the planet. They still exist today. Birds are amazing in the way that they've adapted to survival on Earth, right? Different than us, they have things like the hollow bones and whatnot, so that their mass and their weight are much more offset than ours are by certain things in their anatomy and physiology, which is why dinosaurs could get so huge and big mammals, kind of not too much bigger than an elephant, is when they max out, when their bones stop being able to support their body. Things like we had the Paracitherium or Indricatothere, which was like a giant rhinoceros, which is the biggest mammal for a long time. Now there's a Paleoloxodon contestant who is also in that size range. So, but since mammals, with our solid bones and no air pockets or anything like that, we tend to have upper limits much lower than a dinosaur would be. That's like what we were just talking about Shaquille O'Neal and instead of Robert Wadlow, for instance, the tallest man that ever lived, had so many health problems. All these tall people that are over 3 meters tall are going to have tons of health problems. And the giant moa also stood on 2 legs, but could happily stand 11 feet tall because of the diapsid physiology. right? Because of those hollow bones and reduced skull weight.
Example of these monster type creatures that existed are these Peruvian elongated skulls. Okay, there was more creepy stuff back then, like everywhere, and today we don't have the creepy stuff because we fought them all.
Al, when you going back to your own bed? I didn't see that you said that. When's that happening? Congratulations. So glad to hear you're getting to go home.
Although they might be hiding out, depending on who you ask. I'm not a
Where are they hiding, Kwaku? Where are they hiding? Say it.
Agartha, Shambala, Hollow Earth.
Hollow Earth? Okay, wait, so
That's
hold on.
going to have to be a different episode.
Okay, wait, so hold on. I got to back.
Oh boy. Oh boy, we're getting full Hollow Earth. I'm so happy you're home, Al. Yeah. Let's celebrate. And by the way, Sumami, did you see my, I wore the Alex Mack outfit. Look. I just wanted to show you.
Back up here and make sure that I'm saying this correctly. Okay, you are suggesting that the traditional dinosaur narrative that we've been told of billion to hundreds to tens of millions of year-old living organisms on this earth that whose fossil record we have enjoyed in various natural history museums and textbooks throughout the world is actually a false narrative and was somewhat a cover for a reptilian race of people that actually had these elongated skulls that you can see on your screen.
Some of which
fought with our earliest ancestor, Homo sapiens, before God breathed the life of Adam into them.
I'm
and
not
that
sure.
now there's no more record of them, I
So
assume.
wait, so humans, in Mormonism, humans existed as an ape, and then God breathed the life of Adam into them to give them, like, human sentience, I guess? Don't give away my secret superpower, Sumami.
Because we won, just like we won the Nephilim?
So I'm not.
Or are these also the Nephilim?
I do think Nephilim is a pejorative of non-human entities that walked around the world that were not human or animal.
Maybe they were from Rimulok, like Al suggests. They could be from Rimulok. It's Beldar and Primac were their names. Beldar and Primac. Jane Curtin and Dan Aykroyd. I have so much stupid shit in my head. I swear to God, you all would not believe the stuff in my head. This gets silly. There are different kinds of apes. Very good. And African apes are what we are, which puts us in allegiance with. Well, we're in hominini with chimps and bonobos and Australopithecines, but gorillas are also African apes. They're just further related to us, and then, of course, then you get out of Africa with the Asian apes like orangutans.
I think we've made it only giants we shouldn't. But I don't know if these are pre-Adamites or post-Adamites. I don't know. But we have to account for the ancients' writing. And I'm not saying, okay, here's what I'm saying. When I say dinosaurs aren't real, I'm obviously being a little tongue-in-cheek to get your attention. Okay, I'm not saying there couldn't have been large lizards, because obviously we had mammoths. We had big chickens. We had a lot of stuff back then. Okay?
Yeah, and people don't realize King Kong was actually inspired by Selnick and then Marion C. Cooper being fascinated by a large giant monitor lizard. You know what I'm saying? You know those big giant massive like Gila monsters per se?
Gila monsters aren't that big. Gila monsters are about that big. I want one though. They're venomous. They like eggs though. It's so cute watching them eat eggs. Oh my gosh, have you guys ever watched Gila monster eat eggs? They're so adorable. But they have big old fat venom glands in the back of their head. For a long time, the Gila monster and the Mexican beaded lizards were considered the only venomous lizards. But now we know that all varanids have some level of venom. Varanids are monitor lizards, which are the most derived of the Lepidosaurs, of the lizards. Where they have, for instance, they have a 3-chamber heart that functions as a 4-chamber heart, which is unique. I kind of reverse what the what the crocodilians do, because the crocodilians have a 4-chamber heart that functions like a 3-chamber heart, whereas the varanids have a 3-chamber heart that functions like a 4-chamber heart, which makes them very athletic. They're very athletic animals, and they don't just have bacteria in their bites like they used to say about the Komodo dragon. They have actual venom.
Brooklyn
The Komodo
Zoo
dragons?
got one. A Komodo dragon. That's what I was looking for. Yeah. The Brooklyn Zoo got a Komodo dragon, and up until then, Americans had never really seen, quote, great apes or silverbacks or anything like that.
What the hell has a Komodo dragon got to do with seeing a great ape?
So the reason why Mighty Joe Young and King Kong and a lot of these early great ape epic stories had such large, massive apes like King Kong is because people literally believed, from written reports, the apes in Africa were 20 feet tall.
Well, people believe that there could be undiscovered islands and lands with giant animals on it because we have, in the past, we had so many reports of finding islands and stuff with giant animals on them that we immediately killed. But nonetheless, no, tribe is a phylogenetic level. Oh my gosh, no, that's tribe. We're not using tribe like as in like tribes of different like Native Americans or something. Tribe, we're using tribe as it's a scientific classification. Very different. Hold on. So yeah, taxonomic rankings. And tribe is a taxonomic ranking above genus, but below family or subfamily.
Like, until they saw them in person, like, it's about like 6'6" over there. Kind of like the size of garden. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They literally thought, holy crap, these things are 20 feet tall. It was up until the 20s people believed this.
Oh, wow.
King Kong came out in 1933, and the vast majority
Well,
of Americans
people believe that stuff still to this day, that there could be lost islands or hollow earth where there's giant animals. Your co-host over there seems to be promoting that idea.
99.9% had never seen an ape in real life. Now that's like a staple of any zoo. I mean, this guy gotta have a zebra in a zoo, gotta have an ape,
By the
gotta have
way,
an elephant.
Totally
you know what I'm
off the
saying?
subject, but it's really funny how the pandas we have in our zoos. You know we don't own them.
No, genus, tribe is above genus. So there's multiple genuses under a tribe.
Really?
We rent our pandas from China. Yeah, they license us to have pandas for a couple years. If they don't like the zoo, then they'll revoke the license to have pandas. Yeah, China rents its pandas. Anyway, so
Okay, here, Kwaku,
If you believe pandas are real, that depends on how closely you follow the worm hat lore. Because according to Hans Wormhat, pandas are people in costumes when they're adult, and they're spray painted dogs when they're babies.
just want to throw in something because, Carden, I hear your pushback, and I think it's
because I'm
good.
going to go over an article over, apparently, just like there's flat earthers, there's dinosaur deniers, and there's some pretty solid surveys done on these dinosaur deniers, and we got to go over this.
Well, okay, just a second, because here's where it gets weirder.
Oh my gosh, really?
Yeah, so we have Kwaku's supposition that these reptilians the dinosaurs aren't necessarily these things, but they might have some relation to the Nephilim, which we've also talked about are related to these fallen gods and like Zeus and these things, right? There are statues in Greece of Greek gods that actually have dinosaur bones as part of the statues.
What? Okay, hold on.
So that's actually an interesting topic, Pragmatic Crystal, asking why modern chimps don't look more like humans. That's the thing. That's why we like baby chimps so much, because our neonatic forms are so similar. Because like human babies and the babies of other apes in their infancy look so much alike that we're drawn to them the same way we are to a human baby. Yeah. Yeah, we're in the same tribe. Well, we're in the same tribe as Neanderthals and Denisovans.
Hold on, I'm looking this up.
And no, there's one of two. You could look at this two different ways, right? You could look at this the way that, like, hey, maybe they found this giant bone and they're like, hey, this could have been part of our god that we're now going to worship. Or maybe they were worshiping the reptilians, like Kwaku is saying.
Dude, Kwaku, is this like, are you just stoked out of your mind that you're hearing? This is like music to your ears, man.
Look, obviously, I think the audience has picked up that These subjects are about 50% of me asking questions and 50% of me trolling. How ridiculous I can be and how much I can get away with.
You
right?
never give that up, dog. You
it's
never give
so
that
funny.
up.
Let's not bring up people struggle with addictions. Come on, guys. That's ridiculous. Nobody should be shamed for having a past struggle with addiction. I'm the daughter of an alcoholic. I watched my dad struggle with drinking. I watched. I'm not going to tell you which one, but one of my siblings struggle with meth addiction. So yeah.
It's really funny, especially like, remember, I'm not sure which video it was, but it was something about.
You're literally like
this-
Alejandro Jones when he says, gotta admit, I'm like 50% crazy. I was like, I'm kind of nuts.
Remember the cynocephaly episode, okay?
Yeah.
We're talking about dog people, all right? Like, literally the most how ridiculous subject can I get? And one guy leaves a long paragraph, and he's like, actually, you're inaccurate about the claims of Herodotus. Bro, we're talking about dog people. Like, I'm sorry. Let me have
I think you're
fun.
just protecting yourself. I want to believe, just like the poster for X-Files.
No, okay,
So our tribe is Hominini. That's our tribe. That's the tribe that humans are in. Other things, that are in there is like it's Australopithecines and hominids.
I believe in
Werewolves.
dog people like 15%. Like, it's probably not true, but you know what is probably true? I legitimately do think there is some credence to like the idea of there being other reptoid type species. And so what dinosaur denial is not necessarily I don't believe in dinosaurs. That's the hook to get your attention. It's dinosaur plus is honestly it's what the actual belief is. We have to account for.
All right, this is getting into uncharted territory now. This is as far as I watched it before I decided this was the one I wanted to cover today.
These reptoid type creatures of the ancient world that make us uncomfortable and make it creepy, that seem to represent the monsters and demons and fallen beings of every ancient culture and religion, that seem to account for the Sumerian Mesopotamian stories of man versus snake. And it always goes back to the Garden of Eden. So I do think that there's more to uncover, but what we do, and here's why people like David are touring the world and selling out stadiums, and books are being bought by the millions every day.
David
Because
Icke?
he was the guy going,
Did you say David Icke?
I'm going to ask the question about the lizard people. And everyone's like, that's ridiculous. He's like, I'm going to write a book about it. And everyone goes, that's so stupid, David Icke. You're an idiot. That's kind of, what? And it's like, I'm going to book a ticket to your next show. What the heck? Oh
Okay,
my
well,
And
God.
it's like when Louis C.K. On a bet asked Donald Rumsfeld if he was a lizard person.
Okay, but-
and no. Here's the thing.
I get it.
Donald Rumsfeld wouldn't say no.
He never, dude, he's like, are you a lizard person? Donald Rumsfeld's like, sometimes I go to New York City and people walk past me in the street and they say, can I buy you dinner? And he tells a story about people trying to buy him dinner when Louis C.K.'s like, hey,
Just
are you
say
a
no.
lizard?
I'm not a freaking lizard person.
Like-
If someone asks me if I'm a lizard person, the first thing I think is, are they asking me if I like to have pet lizards? Like, do I like to have, if I like lizards, or like, want to hold a lizard or want to see a lizard. When someone asks me if I'm a lizard person, I get excited and say, yeah, you got a lizard to show me? You got a lizard I can see?
It's so I don't know.
So here's before you started trying to justify your conspiracy theory with an errant interview of Louis C.K. v. Donald Rumsfeld. Both people have gone down in history in amazing ways. You know what I'm saying? I would like to say this.
See, some of these guys are actually kind of likable. I like this guy.
If you're saying that if you're saying that the soundbite that dinosaurs
This
aren't
guy.
real
Oh.
is the hook that gets you to can I talk?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Okay, if you can say that dinosaurs.
Brad's crying. Brad's crying.
Him, I think he's like kind of a loony, maybe, but I think he's supposed to be brought on to throw in crazy
we're
stuff
debating
out.
if dinosaurs were real.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. This is bad radio.
We want to
for
help
crying.
people's testimonies.
Oh my gosh.
Dinosaurs. Oh
Do you have it out of your system, Brad? Is
Almost.
Is it out of your system?
He's got tears.
Okay.
I'm trying to stop.
So, if you're trying to say that dinosaurs aren't real is kind of a combative hook to have a greater conversation about Dinosaur Plus and taking more seriously the writings of the ancients, I'm with you. Because our Bible is so amazingly well kept, especially parts of the Old Testament, because of Masoretic scribes who felt so dedicated to the sacred nature of the text that they would count the number of letters in a papyrus or in a manuscript before copying it by hand, because they wanted to copy as perfectly as possible what they deemed to be the righteous and divinely inspired word of God, right? And when you look...
Until movable type came around, and then it was like, bam! Everybody's got a Bible. And that was a problem, too, but... back when people were handwriting this stuff, it was easy for someone to change or to tweak part of a narrative to change how something is perceived.
Look at some of their scribal notes, and you also look at what the original ancient said. They literally said, like, okay, yeah, this great man, this great prophet fought this great beast, and you can still see the grave of that prophet here next to the road in this spot, or else, oh, you can still see the claw marks on the rocks of this great beast over here. Like, they referenced...
If I had a scale sonnet, it would be a marine iguana, I think. That would be pretty awesome. Be like living like the snorkeler life, just snorkeling around, snorkeling. Yeah.
These happenings as being 100% just as real as...
I need everybody to put their scale sonnet in the side chat.
They referenced their wedding days, their baptisms,
Right.
you know, the day that Alexander the Great marched through town and conquered their armies. You know, there was no hyperbole in how these people talked about, quote, dinosaurs plus. And we disrespect that in the modern age for no other reason other than the arrogance of man that all of those Catholic monastic monks warned us about.
Also, yeah, but don't mention the Catholic monks because I don't. But the point is, also think about
So these guys come in hard at the Catholics too, it seems like.
this though. Here's one question I have, which
Okay.
again, and I'm no expert, and I know everybody turns into an expert in the
Okay.
YouTube comment section, right?
Okay.
But we have fully preserved mammoths.
Yeah, the most recent mammoth was found right here at the end of the 405, dude. That's
No, it wasn't. The most recent mammoth was found in Wrangel Island, and it's very, very recent. Much more recent than what you anticipate. Like 4,000 years ago, there were mammoths around when the pyramids were being built.
the California mammoth.
And there's also the interesting thing about mammoths is we found them all over the world. We found them in Mexico. We found them in all over the world. So my question is, and by the way, that's the cool thing about the Book of Ether. It talks about the the elephants. It turns out they were actually mammoths, and the dating's actually the right time. The mammoths were actually still walking around when the pyramids were being built.
Yeah.
Really interesting thing to learn about.
Oh.
But,
He said the same thing I said. You get that right, quite cool.
we've got fully preserved mammoths. Why not any fully preserved T-Rexes?
Because mammoths lived 4,000 years ago, up to 4,000 years ago, whereas Tyrannosaurus rexes lived 66 million years ago.
Because of time period, dude.
I mean, 15 billion
And-
versus 15,000?
And glaciers
Where'd you get 15 billion at? You go back in time 15 billion, you're past the beginning of what we understand of the singularity.
are a much different thing to be preserving things in, right?
Well,
That's where we get all of our fully preserved mammoths.
Oh, no,
and,
you
then,
guys,
and then the
you
tar
guys know where I'm
pits.
going with this. You guys think
Okay,
I'm gonna go,
hit it,
well,
hit it.
they couldn't have been
Hit
real
it.
because
you
we
got
have
2
the
more
mammoth.
minutes. Hit it.
The nuclear
All
winter
right,
came.
so what do we got so far? We have, of course, Titan said crocodilian. And Robert said a glass snake. That's interesting. Like they call them glass worms too. You're gonna be fossorial. Spend all your time down in the damp soil. In a tropical climate too. Sounds cozy. My scale sonnet is the C scale. That is Aunt Jer. She's becoming music personified. Let's see. I'm gonna go. Oh, Titan's changed his up now. Gonna go with most of the women here are likely flower pot snakes, independent of men. I just want to be a little frog, says D Parks, sitting on a log eating bugs. Yeah. Not a fan of the lifespan. Otherwise, I agree. So Maya wants to be an immortal frog. Or a long-lived frog.
But then what happened after the nuclear winter? Multiple floods. I'm suggesting
Okay.
that we may not have these fully preserved dinosaurs because they may have thawed out into the ocean. And so now the bottom of the ocean is this crazy, like, oh, there's so many dark, scary things. There's so many monsters down there. I think the adaptation of the ancient reptile creatures into the ocean and into the water.
But reptiles, they have to breathe oxygen, though. They can't live down in the deep. There's no reptiles that live. The deepest diving reptile is a leatherback sea turtle. And it has so many specialized adaptations just to maintain its body temperature. It can be I think 18 degrees Celsius. Is how low it can survive in. But regardless, they can survive in pretty cold water because they're large size and they conserve heat. The same, very similar to the way that like a great white shark does. Like mackerel sharks also are like mesothermic, which means they can kind of control and regulate their body heat. So reptiles would have to evolve that in order to thrive in a deeper environment. But they still have to come up for air. We would still see them. So are we getting to sea serpents now?
Is not been explored, and it very well should be.
So you're saying when it says in the ancient text that at first the land was cursed and the water was blessed, but then after the flood, the water was blessed and the land was cursed. It was because not the megaliths, those are the stone monuments, but the megafauna, which are the very large animals, went from the land into the ocean for survival and adapted.
I mean, again, I'm not an expert.
I think John comes and goes in the mornings on Saturday. He does a lot of his yard work and stuff at this time of day. Before it starts getting too hot, so.
But if you're looking at the timeline, because this is where the dinosaur deniers get this wrong, because they say, okay, well, we have mammoths. Why don't we have dinosaurs fully preserved? Well, obviously, like Meltwater Pulse 1b, okay? We've got these giant floods that happened, and we melted ice caps and glaciers, and where the when we had the nuclear winter, where they would have been preserved, many of those locations went into the ocean and went into the water. So do we have dinosaur bodies that went into the ocean? And if so, what does that suggest? Does that suggest that other reptilian animals went into the ocean? Does that suggest that there could be other species even today of lizard-like beasts in the water where we have not explored?
I mean, there were lizards in the water. Mosasaurs are lizards, literally, like quite literally, not just like in the same way that they say that dinosaurs are giant lizards, but mosasaurs were literally lizards. They're in the same clade as the varanids that we talked about earlier, the ones with the three-chambered hearts that act like four. Good morning, Ember. Good to see ya. Is it about frogs? An interesting thing about frogs is, for the most part, they start off their lives as herbivores in their tadpole form, and then become carnivores when they develop into adulthood.
Well, we know more about space into the ocean.
Okay.
So here's what I'll say.
Hit it.
Just to get things starting to wrap up. I totally agree with you that the fossil record's incomplete, and I think there's more out there than we have the initial stuff to prove. Right. So I think I'm with you there. I get lost on the purpose.
No, we have saltwater crocodiles, and we have marine iguanas, too. Marine iguanas are as aquatic as a sea otter is. And saltwater crocodiles, yeah, they can be found way out to sea. We talked about last night, if you missed the Cryptic Corner, we had Ngararar from New Zealand that may have been a crocodile, and they talked about crocodiles that have been sighted close to New Zealand in the ocean.
Of how dinosaurs are different than the way that they're presented, and how, why they would be...
Jurassic Park made up the way they look.
Yeah.
These guys, they were actually birds. Actually, Spielberg, you got it. We have Spielberg's vision now.
Yeah. No, not that, but
Well, more Stan Winston's, but anyway.
Well, they've kind of retconned that to... That the people that they made the dinosaurs like that for Jurassic Park specifically because that was the expectation for dinosaurs, and they Dr. Wu in one of the more recent movies said if they made them just from dino DNA they'd look very different. Thank you, PC.
I don't know why people would have just made up dinosaurs rather than hey, we found these fossils, here's what we're thinking.
It's not making up, it's overemphasizing. the dinosaurs to distract from the other reptoids.
Oh, so it's a
Okay.
false flag psyop.
Red
A historical
herring.
false flag psyop.
I won't say fully false, because again, dinosaurs aren't real is just the wink to get you into the conversation that, yes, obviously there are probably large lizard beasts. There were dragons. There were dinosaurs. Clearly, they existed. But what I'm saying is there were also other reptoid beings that existed, and we don't want to...
Where are they, though? Where are these other reptoid beings? Why do we have dinosaur bones in abundance, but we don't have any reptoid being bones?
about those, because the understanding of that changes world history.
I don't know. I just feel like it's such different time periods that, like, how does dinosaurs distract us from
True story, Robert. Penguins are technically marine reptiles.
the elongated skulls in Peru? Like, is it because we so simplistically view history as like, oh, anything that's a skeleton is just like archaeology? Or what do you think?
No, I'm not saying the Peruvian elongated skulls had to be contemporaries with the dinosaurs. But I'm saying is this species of the reptoid beings existed longer than the dinosaurs did, well up until the patriarch period of the Bible.
Okay.
Okay, interesting.
But then we can just look at any skeletons or remains of that and go, oh, dinosaur. Those aren't dinosaurs. Put them in a cave, put them in the Smithsonian, put them in the basement. Don't think about it.
Okay. Interesting.
So-
You heard it here first on Midnight
See, and that's why I played that Hove and Giants video before this, because these guys are like on the same
Mormons.
path.
Dinosaurs aren't real.
And they're a cover for all the other reptilians.
Tupac's still alive.
Now, there are a few other videos that I saw on here that I maybe want to talk about. Next time I'm on Maya's channel, we should talk about this. Parasites are literal demons. But we got Hitler's hot medium spoke to aliens. Spiritual warfare is real. Yeah. Oh man. Whew. Yeah. So they got a lot of weird topics to dive into. So I'm here for it. I definitely want to make Maya watch some Mormons do some weird stuff. But do you think dinosaurs are reptilian, elongated skull people? Is that something you believe? Do you think dinosaurs were dragons? Let me know in the comments down below. But yeah, thank you so much for sticking with me, and see you next time. Be kind and take care.
Well, I don't know how many years on this earth I got left. I'm gonna get real weird with it.